Livecode just released finally a new version. They've been talking about these version 6.7 and 7.0 for over a year. Um, Apparently, like a lot of the bug fixes everyone's been waiting for years and years and years are in this version. Uh, there's version 6.7 and version 7.0, and you're probably going, whoa, what's going on? And that's exactly what I was saying. What's going on? Why is there two versions? Why are you working on 6.7, 7.0? That didn't make any sense. And no one really could give me a straight answer to why there were two different versions until finally I figured it out by reading the release notes, which what's very confusing. So version 6.7 supports backwards compatibility with all your former projects built in Livecode. It has all the new stuff in it except for Unicode. The new Unicode stuff is in version 7, and why they made a separate version is apparently it can break former applications. If you open an old application in version 7 and don't have a backup copy of it, it can become corrupt and can cause lots and lots and lots and lots of problems. So they basically came out with 6.7 to be able to update your applications using the old backwards compatible Livecode where you put the char of this into that. Well, when it comes to Unicode, that code doesn't work. It has all new code for version 7. So they've given you basically 6.7 to be able to update. They have now, for this is on Mac here, you can see it's a Cocoa window. And this is, the user interface looks a lot better than it did in previous versions. It's still not perfect. It doesn't look 100% like it should in Yosemite, especially the list box. I don't have any data here in the data grid, but that looks pretty good. The header is a little off, but, and you know, you don't see the full interface. They do have a new player object, which is awesome, is absolutely awesome. That there is awesome. The tabs work a lot better, but they don't work perfect. I'm going to get rid of the default button. It really irritates me. And you know, let's take a look at the checkboxes and radio button here. I don't have it in a group, but you can see it does take on the Yosemite look in this new version. So that's fantastic. That's fantastic news that some of this stuff has translated over pretty good. The fields, they don't support you know, the Cocoa text fields here, where you can bring up a spell checking. So you don't really have too much access to anything with a field on it. Other than that, there's not very much different. There's a couple, I mean, it looks the same user interface for the IDE. You do have some new stuff here in the palettes, and I figured out what this scale factor here does. You can make it so the window is bigger on the desktop, so you can see it goes a little bit bigger, and you can see everything kind of looks good when it goes bigger. This player object right here, you can see it kind of stair steps a bit. It's not perfect, but it's better. So it shows you what it would look like, what their scale factoring does. So some of the things that they've added are definitely major improvements. They fixed a lot of bugs, and that's a thumbs up. Definitely really like that. You still have to change the background color of the stack. I put it at gray now. It usually comes at white. And if you're on Yosemite and you haven't figured out how to use the color picker, you have to get it so the color picker is blue. And then you take this square and you keep your mouse pressed down and you hover. So like say if you wanted the background window that color. See? So let's try that again. So you get it blue. You click and press and drag. And then you release to the color you want, and boom. The thing I don't like about this color picker with the buttons, I actually have like 200 colors saved at the bottom of the palette. It actually doesn't expand with the buttons down here. It doesn't expand at all. If you're using the actual Coco NS color picker that doesn't have the buttons, you can expand it, but neither Livecode or Sojo out of the box support that. They have the buttoned version, which I don't understand why, but they do. But you can in Sojo actually get it to do that using either macOS Lib, which is the free add-ons, or MBS complete plugins. Or if you want to go over to Swift, and I have a lot of Swift tutorials all lined up. I've been definitely Swifting, and Swift it's awesome. It's like AppleScript Studio for macOS 10 and iOS, except for it's not AppleScript. Swift is a hybrid of sort of Ruby, Python, and it's very Livecode-like. But the guy who made it said he got it from sort of a cross between of like a Python / basic / Ruby type language. And it's relatively easy. The only part that's very confusing with Swift is how to use Xcode in the IDE. But if you want to make cross-platform applications, and especially for mobile, the new Livecode looks pretty good, and I actually have to thank the people at RunRev to finally have fixing like bugs that have been around for 5 or 6 years. Thank you for finally fixing things. There's some work you got to do. I can see it right here, but and they still haven't released their new IDE, but it does look good. And I definitely suggest checking out version 6.7 and 7.0. And that they do have updates coming out apparently for 6.71 and 7.01, which will have, they're saying they will have this user interface fixed. So if they do, bravo. Check out the community version first if you don't have the commercial version. The only thing you can't do with the commercial version is distribute your applications for the Mac App Store or iOS App Store because of the GPL license. They have a GPL license, and I actually checked with Apple. Apple really doesn't have a problem with the GPL license, but the GPL people have a problem with Apple's actual license for their store, which kind of conflicts with the whole GPL licensing scheme. So because of all that, and because the open source version is GPL, you basically, if you want to release to the Mac App Store or iOS App Store, you have to get the commercial version of Livecode. Otherwise, if you're releasing for Mac on your own store or the Android store or any of the other stuff, you're good to go with the community version. Check it out. Definitely check it out at RunRev. Or actually, it's at livecode.com. Okay? I'll see you guys later. And this is definitely an improvement. So I suggest checking it out. Peace out.